for reconsideration in accordance with the provisions of Article 115 of the Constitution. In the memorandum, His Excellency the President has expressed reservations on Clause 2 of the bill and notes inter alia that were the bill to be ascended to in its present form without offering alternative offenses or sanctions, the bill will effectively render certain indecent, immoral, or disruptive public conduct to be acceptable. That the repeal of Section 182 shall encourage the commission of the acts covered under Section 182 and allow persons to freely behave in a disorderly or indecent manner in a public place and conduct themselves in a manner likely to cause a breach of the peace. And that the repeal undermines the credibility of criminal law and may promote public disorder and disobedience. Further, a blanket decriminalization of conduct that a majority considers delinquent undermines the reputation of the law as a reliable moral authority that should be obeyed. Consequently, His Excellency the President recommends deletion of the said clause of the bill, which, as a matter of fact, is the primary content of the bill. Honourable Members, Standing Order 154-2 requires the House to consider the President's reservations within 21 days upon receipt of a memorandum. In this regard, the memorandum from the President now stands committed to the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs for consideration. The committee is required to table its report soonest to allow the House to consider the President's reservations within the said timelines. Honourable Members, may I at this point remind the House of the Speaker's communication of 28 July 2015 concerning the consideration of the President's reservations to a bill and amendments thereto. I particularly draw your attention to the guidance that the voting threshold for the passage of amendments proposed by a committee or an individual member that have the effect of fully accommodating the President's reservations is a simple majority as contemplated under Article 122(1) of the Constitution as read together with Article 1152A. On the other hand, an amendment that does not fully accommodate the President's reservations, or indeed one that has the effect of a total override of the President's reservations, including negating his proposed text, would require a two-thirds majority vote. Two-thirds voting threshold to be passed in keeping with the provisions of Article 1154 of the Constitution. In conclusion, Honourable Members, I hereby direct the Clerk to circulate the memorandum from His Excellency the President to all members so that they familiarize themselves with its contents. I thank you. Next.
Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Thursday, May 2nd, 2024, in the afternoon sitting. 1. The following statutory instruments from the Ministry of Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs. A. Legal Notice Number 40 of 2024 relating to the Mining Mine Support Services, Amendment Regulations and Explanatory Memorandum. B. Legal Notice Number 41 of 2024 relating to the mining, dealing in minerals, Amendment Regulations and Explanatory Memorandum. C. Legal Notice Number 42 of 2024 relating to the mining, gemstone identification, value addition, fees, regulations, and the explanatory memorandum. D. Legal Notice Number 43 of 2024 relating to the mining, license and permit, amendment regulations, and the explanatory memorandum. 2. Legal Notice Number 69 of 2024 relating to the valuers, forms and fees, amendment rules 2024, and the explanatory memorandum from the Ministry of Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development. 3. Legal Notice Number 70 of 2024 relating to the survey, electronic cadastral transactions, amendment regulations 2024, and the explanatory memorandum from the Ministry of Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development. 4. Legal Notice Number 71 of 2024 relating to the survey, amendment regulations 2024, and the explanatory memorandum from the Ministry of Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development. 5. Legal notice number 72 of 2024 relating to the physical and land use planning fees amendment regulations 2024 and the explanatory memorandum from the Ministry of Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development. 6. Legal notice number 73 of 2024 relating to the community land amendment regulations 2024 and the explanatory memorandum from the Ministry of Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development. 7. Legal notice number 74 of 2024 relating to land amendment regulations 2024 and the explanatory memorandum from the Ministry of Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development. 8. Legal notice number 75 of 2024 relating to the land regulations revocation regulations 2024 and the explanatory memorandum from the Ministry of Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development. 9. Legal notice number 76 of 2024 relating to the land adjudication amendment regulations 2024 and the explanatory memorandum from the Ministry of Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development. And 10. Legal notice number 77 of 2024 relating to land registration general amendment regulations 2024 and the explanatory memorandum from the Ministry of Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development. Reports of the auditor. And 11. Reports of the Auditor General and financial statements for the year ended 30th June 2023 and the certificates therein in respect of A. Kenya Law Reform Commission, B. National Crime Research Center, C. National Council for Law Reporting, D. Revenue Accountability Statements, Kenya Revenue Authority, and E. Council of Legal Education Staff Car Loan and Mortgage Scheme. I thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I beg to lay.
Majority Leader. Member of the delegation. Which delegation? Honorable Rahab Mukami.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to read the following paper on the table of the House today, Thursday, 2nd May 2024. Report of the Kenya delegation to the extraordinary session of the 6th Parliament of the Pan-African Parliament, PAP, held in Midrand, South Africa from 20th to 27th March 2024. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Tourism and Wildlife. Kareke.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Thursday, 2nd May 2024. The reports of the Departmental Committee on Tourism and Wildlife on the budget 1, the budget implementation monitoring for the financial year 2022-2023, and the half year 2023-2024 for the following state departments: State Department for Tourism and State Department for Wildlife. 2, its participation in the International Tourism Browse in Berlin, Germany from 5th to 7th March 2024. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Rahab Mukami.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion that this House notes the report of the Kenya delegation to the extraordinary session of the 6th Parliament of the Pan-African Parliament, held in Midrand, South Africa from 20th to 27th March 2024, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 2nd May 2024. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Mbiuki.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give the notice of the following motion: that one, this House adopt the report of the Departmental Committee on Tourism and Wildlife on the budget implementation monitoring for financial year 2022-2023 and half year 23-24 for the following state department, laid on the table of the House on 2nd May 2024. 1, the State Department of Tourism, and 2, the State Department of Wildlife. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Reverse back to petition. Robert Mbui.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the indulgence. And Mr. Speaker, I stand to seek your advice. Sometime last year, there was a petition that was brought to this House by the principals of our schools in Kenya. And Mr. Speaker, schools are opening next week if rains allow. and the principals are worried a lot. Mr. Speaker, the issue that the principals had raised was a matter of capitation. One, the principals were concerned that the amount of capitation they're getting to run their schools is not enough. Two, Mr. Speaker, they were complaining that the capitation money always comes late, so they end up incurring expenses and they don't have the money for it. Three, Mr. Speaker, they raise a concern that many of the learners of Kenya are not registered under the system of NEMIS, which is a digital system of registering students, because some of them don't have birth certificates, which is not the fault of the principals or the parents, because it is a state-given document. And four, Mr. Speaker, the principals alluded to the fact that from 2018, the amount of money they were getting as capitation was reduced by the Ministry of Education, and so they have been getting less money.
Are you representing the petition?
Mr. Speaker, I'm just about to finish to ask the question so that you can help us. The issue that is of concern, Mr. Speaker, is that the principals already have a debt now of about 54 billion. And Mr. Speaker, this petition came at a time when it was supposed to be handled within the budget cycle so that a solution would be given to them. So the question, Mr. Speaker, I ask is, because now the budget lines are going on and times are also passing, what are we going to do and what advice would you give so that we can provide an answer to the principals of Kenyan schools so that they can be able to run their schools, Mr. Speaker? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Where is Nimrod? And you can say, Robert, if you are the one who presented the petition, if you had sought my advice, I would have advised you differently. Because now the petition is gone to the petitions committee that you know has been having a backlog of work. If you had filed a question in the same terms that you have elucidated to the Committee on Education, Mel is here, he would have handled it and he's quite an efficient chairman. He could have handled it. But since you chose to make the bed the way you did, you'll just lie on it. Where's the majority leader? Yes, minority leader.
Honorable Speaker, actually I agree with your advice. But since the matter is clearly a matter of public notoriety, and the able Honorable Chair for Education is here, and you know, Honorable Speaker, that schools are for sure opening next week on Monday. They should have opened actually this week on Monday. But due to the raging floods, the opening of school was postponed by a week. Would it be in order, therefore, Honorable Speaker, to direct from the chair, really, Honorable Meli, to liaise with the relevant ministry, the Ministry of Education, to come up with a definite position on this matter of capitation? Honorable Speaker, schools will not run. There is no money in schools, and the principals are helpless. How do we expect the principals and and school managers to run these schools without money? Without money. That is a matter that is so urgent, Honorable Speaker, that perhaps Honorable Meli could pronounce himself on it, even as we wait for the petition committee to do its work. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
It's inappropriate for me to ask Meli to comment on a matter that is not before his committee. But Meli, if you want to volunteer, remember equity does not assist volunteers. But if you want to volunteer to help the House, yeah?
Mr. Speaker, I'm not volunteering, but I can just give information,
Yes.
especially on issues concerning that amount of money. Honorable members, I think it was in this House that it is noted in the Education Committee there is always a budget gap of 20 billion on capitation. As Education Committee, we placed this before the Budget Committee, Honorable Speaker, that schools have, the government owes schools 9,000 per child in every school. So it is coming to what Honorable Mbuya said. So I tabled it before the Budget Committee, and I think the chair knows it, that they need to fund up to 54 billion, and that is actually in terms of fees arrears. And you know the government is a parent like any other to the schools. So that is where we are. And in the last budget, the Budget Committee actually factored in 2.5 billion, which is a paltry money. So it is good that this issue is brought before the House, and it is the assembly of this House that we actually appropriate monies. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Majority Leader, you still have to inform the chairman of public petitions to ensure that in the event we'll have any special sitting within the recess period, I'll direct the clerk to list that petition so that it can be dealt with within the context of that special sitting.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm guided, but I can see the Honorable Muriuki, who is here. He's a member of the committee.
Who?
Muriuki.
Which Muriuki?
Not Muriuki. But anyway, Chair, Speaker, I will pass.
Is there any member of the Public Petitions Committee?
So there are here, several of them. But it's okay, Honorable Speaker.
Yes,
I will do.
You know your members.
I'll do as guided.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Try and see what we can do. Next.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
We have several statements, including some that I had approved but are not on the order paper. Those I give the opportunity, try and summarize your statement so that we take as many, because this is the last day of this sitting before you go to long recess. Amina Dika, Tana River County.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 44, Section 2C, I rise to request for statement from the Chairperson, Department Committee on Blue Economy and Water and Irrigation regarding harvesting of stormwater in Tana River. Honorable Speaker, Tana River County is characterized by its arid and semi-arid condition, which often lead to either flooding during the heavy rainfall or drought during the dry season. Sadly, the residents of Tana River County are currently grappling with challenge of flooding due to intense rainfall across the country. This has a devastating impact on farmers whose livelihood depend on agriculture, and their crops have been submerged. In addition to this, the roads are being impassable, and this has forced residents to use boats in flooded areas, leading to the risk of boat incidents in such as what has occurred in Bura constituency recently. Honorable Speaker, given the extreme weather cycles in the region, it is imperative to implement initiatives for harvesting of stormwater. This will help residents utilize the water for agricultural purposes year-round, and thus bolstering food security and mitigating issues of flood through downstream areas. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I seek statement from the Chairperson, Department Committee on Blue Economy, Water and Irrigation as follows. 1, what strategies the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation have in place to harness the heavy rains for long-term drought mitigation? 2, what support mechanisms are available to communities within Tana River County during and after the heavy rains, considering the adverse effect on their livelihood? And number 3, what measures are in place to mitigate the effect of overflowing dams that contribute to the flooding within Tana River County? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chairperson, Blue Economy, Water and Irrigation, Bowen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
First week after recess.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Excellent. Amina Munyanzi, Malindi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement from the Chairperson of Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding the status of processing and issuance of the Seafarer's Identity Document. Honorable Speaker, in 2022, Kenya ratified the International Labour Organization Seafarer's Identity Document Convention, which requires that all seafarers have the seafarer's identity document. The SID is a document that is carried by all professional seafarers for the purposes of facilitating their mobility, transfer, and transit at maritime borders, and as a part of security requirements of port states. However, there have been grievances reported about the lack of issuance of this crucial document to Kenyan seafarers, denying them entry into their country, to other countries. The Kenya Maritime Authority was set to roll out the issuance of SID, but this has been delayed and no status update issued on the matter. This puts jobs of thousands of seafarers and crew members working on different shipping lines at risk and is a hurdle to those seeking maritime-related employment opportunities. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on the following. 1, what is the status of the processing and issuance of the seafarer's identity document? How many applications have been received by the Kenya Maritime Authority and number of SIDs issued from 2022 to date? What challenges have hindered the process of seafarer's identity document, and what plans have been put into place to ensure that the processing of the SID is fast-tracked? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Chair, Transport and Infrastructure. Where is Kariuki? Any member of the
Honorable
College?
Speaker, I'm present and will be able to provide responses.
First week?
Yes, first week.
After recess.
Thank you.
Irene Mayaka, nominated.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding the state of infrastructure at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Honorable Speaker, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport plays a crucial role as a transit hub for passengers, major airlines, and a significant cargo center for both inbound and outbound goods. Indeed, the airport is among the busiest in Africa, with records indicating that in the financial year 2022-2023, the airport handled close to 8 million passengers and over 300,000 tons of cargo. However, over the past decade, JKIA has faced persistent challenges such as inadequate infrastructural upgrades, power blackouts, and broken facilities, including leaking roofs. Passengers handled at JKIA have also consistently complained of poor customer service at the facility. These issues not only affect the operation efficiency of the airport, but also contribute to the deteriorating passenger experience. Despite the Kenya Airports Authority announcing plans to revamp the facility of the airport, the infrastructural upgrades undertaken so far have often been substandard, leading to the continued dilapidation of JKIA. Honorable Speaker, given the heavy rainfall experienced in the country, flooding at the airport and water leakages have also become a recurrent problem inside Terminal 1C, international departures, and Terminal 1D, domestic departures. Further, the infrastructural upgrade of the terminals have consistently fallen short, exposing passengers to inclement weather conditions during arrivals and departures. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I seek a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on the following. A, could the chairperson provide a report on plans to upgrade the infrastructure of the airport? B, state the measures that the Ministry of Roads and Transport has put in place to ensure that the infrastructural upgrade at JKIA are up to standard. And C, steps that the Kenya Airports Authority is taking to collaborate with relevant stakeholders to address reported challenges at JKIA, such as power blackouts. I thank you.
GK, first week.
First week is okay, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Now, Tindimale, I'll give you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Roads and Transport regarding the potential infringement of the right of privacy by the National Transport and Safety Authority, NTSA. Honorable Speaker, the National Transport and Safety Authority, NTSA, operates in a highly data-oriented environment necessitating access to and use of personal information to fulfill its mandates. However, concerns have been raised by a significant number of Kenyans, particularly those in the car dealership industry, regarding potential data privacy breach on the National Transport and Safety Authority NTSA online platform. Regrettably, the NTSA portal does not provide an option for registered organizations to create their own independent accounts. This has compelled employees to open accounts on behalf of their companies, with the companies only able to link their data to an already authorized individual account. It is imperative to note that Article 31 of the Constitution guarantees the right of every person to privacy, including the right not to have information relating to their private affairs unnecessarily required or revealed. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I seek a statement from the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Roads and Transport on the following. A, what measures are being taken to address the issue of registered organizations being unable to create or activate independent NTSA accounts to avoid companies only having the option of linking their data to an authorized account? B, what steps have been taken to protect citizens whose accounts are linked to an organization's transaction, given that the company's transaction receipts displays authorized person's details instead of the company's details? That is, the name, telephone number, email address, and identification number. And C, what measures have been established to ensure that account sub-users with limited rights on transaction of major accounts do not intrude into privacy of the authorized person's personal data available on the e-Citizen platform? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
GK.
Honorable Speaker, I request you give us up to the second week, before end of second week.
Sawa.
Thank you, sir.
Honorable Namwar, Turkana Central. There you are.
Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 43, I wish to make a general statement with regard to the alleged claims of the abduction of Mr. Sami Ektela of ID number 32872871 in Lodwar Municipality, Turkana Central. Honorable Speaker, on Tuesday, 30th April 2024, the member for Turkana South, the Honorable Ariko Namoit, MP, requested for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security concerning the alleged abduction of Mr. Sami Ektela, the constituency manager for Turkana South constituency in Lodwar. The member implied that the Minister Sami was abducted, and those in his company were assaulted and lost valuables during the attack. However, I wish to categorically state that investigations have conclusively proven these allegations to be unfounded. It has been determined that the Mr. Sami Ektela was not abducted and the purported incident was a fabrication. Honorable Speaker, as you have consistently ruled, it is a matter of common courtesy for the area member of parliament to be involved in matters concerning their constituency. Unfortunately, I was neither aware of nor consulted regarding this alleged matter. It is regrettable that my colleague from Turkana South chose to advance political interests by exploiting the privileges accorded by this Honorable House and making unsubstantiated claims. To correct the false impression created regarding the security situation in Lodwar, I must underscore that no abduction occurred in Turkana Central. The investigations have conclusively shown that the allegations were baseless. Honorable Speaker, I hereby request that the member for Turkana South, the Honorable John Ariko Namoit, be compelled to retract and apologize to the people of Turkana Central for the false allegations, which have the potential to undermine the peace and security of our region. I also appeal to all my colleagues to refrain from making unfounded claims that could jeopardize the peace and security of our constituencies. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Member for Turkana South, is he here? He's not here. You'll square out of this chamber. Honorable Munyoro? Yes? Yes, Honorable Wandai.
You see, Honorable Speaker, I didn't listen keenly to the Honorable Member for Turkana Central, I suppose. But at the tail end, I got the gist of what he was trying to say. Honorable Speaker, you may need to actually guide the House in treating very carefully on such matters. Because first and foremost, it amounts to discussing the conduct of the person of the MP for Turkana South, the Honorable Dr. Amoit. Yeah. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Amoit has had serious challenges in the last couple of days. As a matter of fact, his own personal assistant was abducted. Up to now, we are not sure.
That is what he's saying didn't happen.
Yes. Yes, and therefore, I would suggest, Honorable Speaker, that the matter concerning Turkana be handled a little bit more cautiously without publicizing the matters in the manner the MP is suggesting. But I think more importantly, Honorable Speaker, if this House could direct the security agencies to move with speed and restore order in Turkana, especially areas around Turkana South and Central, where Lodwar is situated, I believe. Is it Lodwar? Yes. Honorable Speaker, the issues in Turkana may look isolated, but if left unaddressed or unchecked, could actually spiral, could snowball, and affect other parts of the country, especially the neighboring counties. Honorable Speaker, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Member for Kigumo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding the status of the Mau Mau roads. Honorable Speaker, the residents of Kigumo constituency in Murang'a County have raised concerns over the delay in the completion of the said roads. The 540-kilometer road traverses Murang'a, Nyandarua, Kiambu, and Nyeri counties and was commissioned to improve transportation, enhance connectivity, promote economic development, and ease access to various areas for residents and businesses. Despite significant investment by the government, the projects appear to have stalled. Notably, the roads have since become impassable due to the ongoing heavy rains, posing a serious threat to the safety and well-being of the residents in the area. Honorable Speaker, the impassable roads have severely impacted businesses in the area, with farmers facing challenges in transporting their produce to the markets, resulting in substantial losses for families dependent on these businesses for their livelihoods. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that I request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on the following. 1, could the Chairperson provide the reasons for the prolonged delay in completing the Mau Mau roads in Kigumo constituency? 2, what plans has the ministry put in place for the resumption and completion of the Mau Mau roads construction in Kigumo constituency? 3, what mitigation measures is the ministry undertaking to ensure that the roads within Kigumo constituency remain passable during this rainy season? And 4, when is a contractor expected to resume construction of the Ikombe, Karinga, Gasharage road? I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
GK.
Week 2, Honorable Speaker.
Okay. So that.
Thank you.
Saidi Posta Hiribai.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. some time back, around, to be precise, I think on the 21st of March, I brought a statement here, and that statement was given to the Lands Committee. They were supposed to have come here with a feedback immediately after recess, but that one has not happened up to today. The statement is concerning a dispute on a piece of land. Mr. Speaker, as you know, Tana River is very volatile, and there have been incidences, very ugly incidences before. My people are up in arms, but I managed to talk to them, and they have been waiting for a response from this house. But there's no response up to now. My fear is we are going for recess, and it will take about 1 month. It is not surprising that before we come back, there'll be ugly incidences because of this matter. So I stand so that you give me direction on this matter.
It was to the Committee of Lands.
Yes, it was given to Lands Committee.
Nyamoko, is he here? Yes, Chairman Nyamoko.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we did communicate to the State Department of Lands in respect of the statement which was being sought by the Honorable Said. But we are yet to get the response. Mr. Speaker, I want to give an undertaking that we'll do request for a written statement which we will then send to the Honorable Zaid, if that will assist in solving that problem.
Okay. Hereby, is that okay?
Mr. Speaker, I've been speaking to the chair, and he happens to be a good friend of mine, but my fear is lands matters are very emotive matters at home in Tana River, you know very well, and we'll be coming back after 1 month. My fear is we might end up having problems before we come back to this house.
Where is Melly? Injendi Malulu to respond to the statement sought by Joshua Kandie, Baringo Central. Do you have the response? Give him the mic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I arise to give a response from the CS, Minister of Education, to a request for statement by Honorable Joshua Kandie, MP, Baringo Central constituency, on delayed salaries and understaffing of non-teaching personnel in special needs schools. Honorable members, Article 53, 1B of the Constitution provides that every child has the right to free and compulsory basic education. In this regard, the government runs the free primary and free day secondary education programs for all learners, including those with disabilities and special needs. Under these programs, the government provides capitation to learners at the various levels of education. At the primary school level, the approved rates are a capitation grant of Kenya shillings 1,420 per learner, including those in special needs education primary schools. In addition, the ministry is to provide top-up grants of Kenya shillings 2,300 per learner per year to all SNE learners in primary schools. This top-up grant is for the provision of specialized learning materials and assistive devices and technologies. Special needs education boarding schools are also to be provided with Kenya shillings 11,000 per learner as boarding grants to subside boarding expenses and pay the salaries of non-teaching staff. At the second school level, the approved capitation rate is Kenya shillings 22,244 per learner. Learners in special needs education schools are to be provided with a top-up grant of Kenya shillings 35,730 for the acquisition of specialized learning materials and assistive devices and technologies, personnel emoluments for non-teaching staff, and for food subsidy for learners in boarding schools. Honorable members, whereas these are the approved rates, the budget provided to the ministry has always fallen short, leading to an underfunding of the special needs education schools. For instance, the tables below illustrate the funding requirement under both the free primary and free secondary education programs and the respective deficits, as well as the deficits under the special needs education top-ups in the last 2 years. In the financial year 2022-2023, the ministry required 11 billion for free primary education. It required 11 billion 815 million. The budgetary provision was 11 billion 811 million 734 102. A deficit there was 3,265,898 shillings. In 2023-2024 financial year, the requirement by the ministry for free primary education was 12 billion 328 million, whereas the budgetary provision was 12 billion 1,036,900. The deficit here was 326,963,100. Table 2 on special needs education primary top-up, the requirement for the same years was 2022-23, 856 million, whereas the budgetary provision was 455 million. The deficit was 401. For this financial year, the requirement was 1,328 million, whereas budgetary provision was 455 million. There is a deficit up to now of 873 million. So, Mr. Speaker, when you look at free-day second school in the same years, you'll find that for free-day second school education, there was a deficit of 17 billion for the year 2022-23, and for the year 2023-2024, there was a deficit of 23 billion. When it comes to special needs secondary school top-up, again, for the same years 2022-23, there was a deficit of 200 million, and in 2023-2024, there was a deficit of 306 million. So, honorable members, the funding gap is significant, especially given the growing enrollment in our learning institutions. The ministry has continued to make appeals to Education Committee and the National Assembly in general to enhance our the budgetary provision so that learners can be funded at the approved rates. This underfunding poses a serious threat to the quality of learning in the institutions, especially those with learners who have severe disabilities. The special needs education institutions need to be supported adequately to acquire the relevant assistive devices and learning resources depending on the nature of disabilities, and also to pay the non-teaching staff and the caregivers. Learners with special needs require more resources, including a staffing ratio of 1:1 for those with severe disabilities. In the Cabernet School for the Deaf-Blind, which has been identified by the Honorable Joshua Kandie, for example, there are 81 learners with a teaching staff component of 32 teachers employed by the Teacher Service Commission and support staff of 22, 12 of whom are permanent and 10 are casual staff. These ratios are below optimal. The inadequate funding also means that the support staff are underpaid. Indeed, presently the school has a pending bill of up to 4.7 million in unpaid salaries for support staff. This situation leads to demoralization of staff and a high staff turnover, thereby undermining smooth operations in the schools. The ministry is therefore beseeching the Education Committee to support it in securing the optimal budgetary allocation required to ensure that our learning institutions, including special needs institutions, operate smoothly and efficiently for the benefit of the learners. With funding at the approved rates, the schools will be able to provide the required resources to the learners and also timely pay support staff. From an operational perspective, the ministry disburses capitation to learning institutions in 3 phases of 50% in term 1, 30% in term 2, and 20% in term 3. The ministry always promptly prepares the disbursement schedules for funds to be released by the National Treasury. However, the ministry sometimes faces delays in making actual disbursements to the schools because of delays in release of exchequer from the National Treasury. The ministry, however, always makes efforts to follow up to ensure a timely release of exchequer from the National Treasury. By way of example, the ministry has provided a copy of its letter dated 13th April 2023 under reference number MOSCCT1/03 volume 5 as evidence. This year, the capitation for term 1 has been disbursed to all schools, including special needs institutions. The Cabernet School for the deaf-blind has received Kenya shilling 791,662 as capitation for term 1. Mr. Speaker, I wish to confirm that we invited the CS to our committee, and at the same time we also invited the member of the Honorable Joshua Kandie, the author of the statement, to our committee, to our Committee of Education meeting, and Mr. Speaker, the Honorable member was satisfied with this statement. Thank you.
To the next. This time, paraphrase, you've taken too long on that one. This is for Owen Bayer.
Thank you. This is a response to request for statement by Honorable Owen Bayer, the MP for Kilifi North, regarding the withholding of academic certificates by school heads in both public primary and secondary schools. Honorable members, all candidates are by law entitled to their certificates upon release of their results. Every child in Kenya has a constitutional right to basic education, and withholding of certificates violates this right. As the Honorable Member for Kilifi North rightly notes, Section 10(1)(b) of the Kenya National Examination Council Act 2012 prohibits institutions or persons from withholding NEC certificates or diplomas from the candidate. It is therefore against the law for any institution to withhold KCSE or KCP certificates due to a student for any reason, including non-clearance of school fees. Schools and the school heads are merely agents of NEC for purposes of transmitting certificates to candidates. They therefore do not have any basis in law to withhold the certificates. The ministry has issued to all schools through the county directors of education, emphasizing the legal position to the effect that no certificate should be withheld on account of non-clearance of school fees. A copy of the circular dated 8th November is provided herewith. Despite the position of the law and the various circulars, NEC and the ministry, through their various field officers, often receive reports of certificates being withheld by schools, especially on account of unpaid school fees. This is a clear breach of the law which the ministry is committed to end. Such cases, whenever they occur, are to be reported to the Ministry of Education and the Teacher Service Commission for action. It's important to point out that many cases of withheld certificates are not reported to the ministry or to NEC, as the affected candidates attempt to resolve the issues between themselves and their respective schools. However, in order to obtain a clear picture of the situation, the ministry has instructed its field officers to undertake a comprehensive audit of all the schools within their jurisdiction to provide reports to the ministry, covering the period from 2012 as requested by the Honorable Member for Cliff North. The Ministry will transmit the information to the committee once it is provided. Once this information is available, the Ministry, working together with other stakeholders such as the Teacher Service Commission, will take specific action against the implicated school heads to ensure that the affected candidates get their certificates. As a Ministry, they have been exploring various solutions to address this problem of withheld certificates. One of the options they have considered is to strengthen the existing legal framework by making it a punishable crime to withhold a candidate's certificate. The current law only prohibits the withholding of a certificate without providing for punishment. The Ministry is also exploring the possibility of direct access by leveraging on the technology as proposed by the Honourable Member of Parliament for Kilifi North. The system for direct access that is being contemplated would enable all institutions and third parties to access and confirm results of candidates from a single source operated and secured by NEC. Such a system will also be instrumental for facilitating verification of basic education level results by institutions of higher learning as well as potential employers. Mr. Speaker, I also want to confirm that the CS appeared before the committee and we also invited the member concerned, and the member was actually satisfied with this response. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Njendi, Umulher, nominated member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I raised a statement on Tuesday to the Chair Departmental Committee on Blue Economy on the situation on floods and Masinga Dam overflow. You had asked him to give us a response on Thursday today.
Bowen, are you ready?
Mr. Speaker, indeed, the Honorable, and also you directed that I give a report about the floods in the country and especially the floods in Garissa County, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the report I have is just an interim report because you directed that I should give a progress report this afternoon.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, the ministry has given me a progress report, though, Mr. Speaker, we had asked the Cabinet Secretary to appear before us this morning so that we can ask the Honourable Member to appear, but because of your ruling that we should cancel all the committee meetings because of what we had in the morning, so he was not able to come. But, Mr. Speaker, he gave me the following. That, Mr. Speaker, the ministry, they are in a process of putting a short-term measures to mitigate the floods across the country, and they also have a long-term measures. Honorable Speaker, the extent of the damages of the current rains on water storage facilities. The ministry is on high alert, and it's currently assessing the status of water storage facilities, that is dams and ponds, Honorable Speaker. To this end, no major storage facility has been noted or damaged. However, most of the dams across the country are spilling and hence posing a risk of flooding downstream. Mr. Speaker, as at May 2024, all the 7 Fox dams comprising of Masinga, Kamburu, Kitaru, Kindaruma, and Kiambere were spilling. Further, the water supply index in Tana Basin is in Thika, Karisa, Adi Basin, Kiama, Kimaikia, Mwangu, Injini, and Kairi in Lake Victoria, South catchment areas like the Dunga, Oyani, are submerged. The water supply services areas affecting an estimated of about 400,000 people. In most cases, the utilities such as the basins have adopted the water rationing to manage the supply and demand. It's also noted that the following facilities has been affected. Ololunga Dam is also affected, the Narok Siwa manholes, Nairobi, Mara River, Garissa Siwa, Machakos, Mavoko, Thika, are also affected. Mr. Speaker, the ministry, they have given that the short-term solutions to address the current impact on the storage facilities. As earlier stated, the storage facilities have not been damaged, but there is a lot of spilling which has caused the flooding downstream. Understanding the consequences of spilling, the ministry has installed a real-time monitoring stations at a strategic locations on the rivers for the providing the status of water levels every day. This data is used to provide a periodic advisories to alert downstream communities to remain vigilant on the safety. The real-time water levels monitoring stations have been installed in the following areas. Mr. Speaker, and the ministry, they have given in Lake Victoria North Basin, they have given a place called Lisio in Busia County, Malaba in Malaba, Isiku in Kakamega. There is also a place called Woroya in Ukunja. And in Lake Victoria South, there is Akuja Mikori, there is St. Miriu, there is Nyando, Lake Victoria, Kipsonoi, Aina Matua, Nyando Moroni, and Chongit. In Rift Valley Basin, Honorable Speaker, those alerts are in Joro, Ewasonyiro, Berkera, Molo, Lake Naivasha, Meroroni, and Ngare in Narok. In Athi Basin, they have given provided in Nairobi, the Athi Kibwezi, Athi Wamuyu, and Savo. In Tana area, they have given a Tana in Garissa County. There is also Atiba in Kirinyaka, Tana in Sagana, that's in Sagana area, Nanyuki, and the Ewasanyiro Narok in Rumuruti. The ministry needs and states cooperation are constantly monitoring the performance of the dams and water pans in the country, including the private water pans. The water pans that are showing some levels of distress are evacuated. Mr. Speaker, on the long term, the ministry is mobilizing resources through the various strategies, which entails the PPPs, the water sector climate financing and social dams to construct a climate-proof water harvesting and a storage infrastructure to harvest water for flood controls. The target is about 100 like dams, which is about 3,000 water pans and 200 small dams. The plan is to increase the annual per capita water from the 452 cubic meters per person to 620 meters cubic per person by the year 2025 and 700 meters cubic per person by 2027. To alleviate the perennial flooding, Honorable Speaker, within the lower Tana Basin areas, that is the area of Garissa and Tana River counties, the ministry is proposing to rerouting the flood waters from the Tana River through the canal to Fafi wetlands. The rechanneling of these water floods will also be used for irrigation during the periods as well as recharging of the aquifers. Honorable Speaker.
Can you summarize?
Yes. So I'm finishing, Honorable Speaker. So the ministry, and they have given
Because
those long-term areas.
I understood the questioner.
So
her concern was the Seven Forks dams, which had a threat of spilling.
Which I have read.
And what you are doing to mitigate the situation. Now you are wandering all over the country.
Like I've said, the Honorable Speaker, yes. The ministry, they have given me just an interim report, given that, Honorable Speaker, on Tuesday, which you told me to submit a report today, and it was only yesterday.
Okay.
So, I've given just an interim report, and I'll give the Honorable Member a copy, but I will invite the Cabinet Secretary,
yes,
maybe next time, so that also the Honorable Member can appear.
Excellent.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Omolher, you've gotten the report. If you have any issues, sort out with the Bowen. We don't have the time. Beatrice Adagala.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, I request for a statement regarding preparedness of schools during rain season. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I arise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee of Education regarding the preparedness of schools to deal with the effects of heavy rains and associated challenges. Honorable Speaker, the rains pounding various parts of the country have resulted in flash floods affecting many citizens, including school-going children. In the recent past, floods have not only caused closure of schools, but they have also led to loss of lives, destroyed school infrastructure, made roads inaccessible, displaced families, and increased disease outbreaks. Regrettably, this has had an impact on school attendance and subsequent poor academic performance by school children. Honorable Speaker, in these circumstances, preparedness in schools is a growing concern as it involves the accessibility and safety of schools, school facilities, and other items of importance to their learning. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I seek a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education on the following. 1. What is the state of preparedness by the government ahead of next week reopening of schools, planned to reopen under such prevailing rain conditions? 2. Could the ministry state the number of learning institutions affected by the ongoing heavy rains in the country? 3. What financial assistance or support is in place for schools affected by the floods in this country? I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Bowen, is that to you or to education? Melly, that was directed at you. Can you bring the response?
Yes, shall bring the response immediately. We resume from this.
Excellent.
Yes.
Daniel Carrido. Honorable Daniel Carrido. Member for Igembe Central. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Statement regarding the exploitation of Miraa farmers by cartels at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 44/2C, I wish to request a statement from the chairperson, Department Committee on Agriculture and Livestock regarding the exploitation of farmers by cartels at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Honorable Speaker, Miraa is one of the most profitable cash crops in Kenya that feeds international as well as national markets. Notably, in 2015, Parliament amended the Crops Act to ensure recognition of Miraa as a cash crop and obligating the national government to establish mechanism for its promotion, production, distribution, and marketing. Sadly, it has been reported that these farmers are being exploited by cartels who manipulate the pricing and the distribution of the product in the market. For instance, transport of Miraa product to Mogadishu, being one of the biggest consumers of Miraa, is approximately 1.5 times more costly per kilo as compared to other products to the same destination. Additionally, these cartels dictate the kind of airline that transports the product, the quantity to be transported, and the specific market destination. This is exploitative, unjust, and impoverishes Miraa farmers who toil in the farm. Honorable Speaker, it is on this background that I request for a statement from the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development through the Departmental Committee of Agriculture and Livestock on the following. What measures is the government taking to ensure that Miraa farmers are not exploited by business entities, especially with regards to transportation and pricing of the commodity? What steps has the government taken to ensure that business entities adhere to regulatory framework already in place, including setting the frequency of inspections carried out to ensure compliance with the regulations and necessary measures against these business entities? What plans are in place to ensure that all approved airlines, including Kenya Airways, transport the commodity to all market destinations that have been approved by the government of Kenya? And what measures is the government going to take to ensure that the cartels are dealt with who are hindering the business at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chairman Agriculture. Any member of the committee, Majority Leader, inform the Chair Agriculture to bring the statement upon resumption from recess. Timothy Toroitich.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2c, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Lands regarding the operationalization of the Elgeyo-Marakwet County Land Registry. Honorable Speaker, land registries play a crucial role in maintaining an efficient land registration system and ensuring the orderly conduct of land transactions. Unfortunately, despite the Elgeyo-Marakwet County having its own land registry, it remains underutilized due to the absence of land valuers, whose deployment falls under the purview of the Ministry of Lands. Consequently, land valuations of Elgeyo-Marakwet residents are conducted in Uasin Gishu County, causing administrative disparities and inconveniences for local residents who require land registration services and title deed issuance. The situation also derails important projects that often require valuation reports for land acquisition purposes, such as projects funded by the National Government Constituency Development Fund, NGCDF. The unavailability of valuation reports impedes the NGCDF committees in disbursing funds for community development initiatives. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Lands on the following. 1. Could the Chairperson provide timelines for deployment of land valuers to the Elgeyo-Marakwet County Land Registry? Number 2, what measures is the government taking to ensure full operationalization of the Elgeyo-Marakwet Land Registry to enable county residents to access land registration services and issuance of title deeds conveniently? I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Chair Lands, first week.
First week, yes, Your Excellency.
Omolher Harun. Omolher Harun. Nominated member from Garissa, Omolher Harun. Isn't that you? Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I don't, my apologies. I thought I raised a statement I had.
You are following up an earlier statement. You had filed another statement, but we'll drop it if you are not ready.
I got a response from the chair.
Okay. Rael Kasiwai. Rael Kasiwai, member for West Pokot County. Yes, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2c, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding the state of the Kapenguria-Lodwar Road. Honorable Speaker, the ongoing heavy rains have caused damage to many roads across the country. The Kapenguria-Lodwar Road, for instance, has been rendered impassable, particularly around the Lous area. This has severely affected residents within the area by disrupting crucial transportation links and hindering the flow of goods and services within the area. Additionally, this disruption has resulted in closure of trade and commerce centers within the area and negatively affecting the economy of the region. Honorable Speaker, with the road being rendered impassable, the residents are unable to access essential services such as health care, education, which are fundamental rights of every citizen as enshrined in the Constitution. It's against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on the following. 1. What immediate measures is the Minister of Roads and Transport putting in place to rehabilitate Kapenguria-Lotwa Road? 2. What long-term measures is the ministry taking to ensure the safety of the residents during the heavy rains? And I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Roads, wapi Kariuki? I thought Kariuki was here. Majority Leader informed him to bring a statement first week upon completion of recess. Clive Gisairo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44.2c, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Communication, Information and Innovation regarding the status of the Kenya Digital Economy Acceleration Project. Honorable Speaker, to become a middle-income country by 2030, the country needs to incorporate the development of digital technologies within the government, as this plays a catalytic role in enhancing productivity and prompt service delivery by both the public and private sector. The Kenya Digital Economy Acceleration Project was introduced to help make Kenya's growth more equitable by shrinking disparities in digital skills and connectivity and expanding the digital marketplace. Honorable Speaker, the World Bank disbursed a total of $390 million in the year 2023 to the Information and Communication Technology ICT Authority for implementation of the project through various components like extending the reach of backbone networks, increasing last-mile connectivity for education, developing the critical enablers for e-government services, and supporting digital literacy, among others. However, there remains a divide in access to broadband, digital public services, and the skills needed for individuals and businesses to thrive in a digital society, especially in the rural areas. It is against this backdrop that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Communication, Information and Innovation on the following. 1. What is the status of implementation of the Kenya Digital Economy Acceleration Project so far since disbursement of the funds by the World Bank? 2. What regions have benefited from the implementation of the project so far? 3. What are the expected gains from this project? I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Majority Leader. Chairperson of ICT.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And the Honorable Clive raises a very important point. And even as we are going on recess, we are going to take up this matter, and I know we are going to burn the midnight oil even as we are doing the budget issues. In 2 weeks, we shall be ready with a response. That means as we come back from recess, he shall get a response. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Well done. Majority Leader, your Thursday statement?
Yes.
Honorable Ruku, I don't have any of your statements, unfortunately. Before you, Majority Leader, Musa Sirma, you've just a communication. I'll give you 1 minute.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to take this opportunity to welcome members. I know you have gotten official communication, but to invite you to the 20th anniversary of the commemoration of the establishment of the NGCDF tomorrow at Safari Park at 9 a.m. Mr. Speaker, we know the roles played by the members of parliament in this fund. They are pivotal to the development of this country, and especially in committing the funds to the exclusive functions of the national government. Mr. Speaker, I also want to confirm to members that the commitment by the government to deliver the continuous payment of 10 billion every month is on course, and there is no default at all. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, the respect accorded to you, having been given that commitment, has been met. Mr. Speaker, also chairmen and fund account managers have been invited to that meeting. Welcome all. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable. Yes, the time of the meeting. Give him the mic.
Members, tomorrow by 8, we should be at Safari Park, because we shall be starting from 8:30 to 9. Thank you. And the head of state will be the guest of honor.
Thank you. Yes, Jared? Members, you are conversing very loudly. Musa Sirma is inviting all of you to Safari Park tomorrow morning, particularly those of you who are in continuous interaction with the CDF, NGCDF, to celebrate the 20th anniversary of this important fund. Yes, Okello?
I thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I've got two quick issues to run by you. Number one, recognizing that we are going out for recess today, I did raise a question as regards remission of political parties fund to the Register of Political Parties, who should then cascade it to, on pro rata basis, to political parties, Honorable Speaker. I remember you gave the majority leader the task to go and talk to Treasury and give a report. And now that we shall be out for a month, I hope the report is ready to that regard. Honorable Speaker, secondly, and this is most important to me, as the chairperson of Parliamentary Service Commission, with the mandate of ensuring welfare and comfort of members of this House, Honorable Speaker, I am concerned about the relationship between this House and the Executive, particularly as regards the sitting arrangements, Honorable Speaker. Whereas I do not attend presidential functions for obvious reasons, I happened to, a fortnight ago, attend the burial of Chief of Defense Forces, my brother and friend, Francis Ogola, who has substantively been replaced this morning, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I know that cabinet secretaries depend on this House to get those jobs. But I was so disturbed that members of Parliament were literally scrambling for seats where the President was, Honorable Speaker. My brother, Honorable Ruku, I believe the tallest man in this House, had to stand up for 5 minutes, and I had to cede my own seats for Honorable Ruku. Because, you know, when I stand looking for a seat, it is permissible. But when Ruku, with the 7.2 feet high, looking for a seat, it becomes very embarrassing, Honorable Speaker. So one thing that I cannot wrap my head around properly is whether this is a policy of government that where members of Parliament are, no one accords them seats. Yet, cabinet secretaries have all the latitude. They have all the seats marked to their names. But members of Parliament must suffer, literally, trying to locate seats, Honorable Speaker. I implore upon you as our chair, Honorable Speaker, whether something can be done to this respect, because these members play a very important role. To get into this House, you literally depend on the charity of our voters. Yet, a cabinet secretary only needs one person to appoint him to that office, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, we are subjected to inordinate embarrassment before the public that we have to literally beg for seats, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Ruku can bear me witness that I had to cede my own for his sake.
You've made your point.
So, Honorable Speaker, we need your indulgence and direction on this. Whether it is a protocol issue stemming from State House, it has to be corrected now and today, so that the respect that we enjoy with the electorate out there can permeate and continue, and that we enjoy. Actually, as I finish, the majority leader who was sitting
3 feet away from me, had to be squeezed and sandwiched in a very small seat that do not befit his position, whereas we have our own political differences. His comfort is my comfort, and his welfare is my welfare in return. We may differ politically, but when it comes to the comfort and welfare of a member of this House, that sits at the top echelons of my consideration, Honorable Speaker. And I thank you for the opportunity.
Majority Leader, anything to say to that? Ngoja.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I know Honorable Wino indeed was seated next to me at that funeral. But let me just, for the record, state that I went for the funeral to mourn with the family of CDF Ogola. Wherever I would have sat, I was comfortable to sit anywhere because it is a funeral, Honorable Speaker. However, Honorable Speaker, it is true I did notice the leader of Azimio, or the deputy leader of Azimio, or I don't know what position Kalonzo Musyoka, His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka holds in Azimio. Don't know if he's a deputy or Mother Karua is a deputy of Azimio, but I know he's a leader within Azimio. His seat was very far from where ordinarily I would expect a leader of that stature, and it took myself and the leader of majority in the Senate to cede our own seats, to move, to allow the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka to move to where we thought warranted his sitting. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, probably there was a problem with the protocol that day, and maybe the best I could do is on behalf of either the Ministry of Defense, who are in charge of the protocol at that funeral, to offer my very profound apologies to the Honorable Wino and the Honorable Ruku, Honorable Okello. I know he's from Kanyagwar, where he knows I have been there, to offer my very profound apologies. I know he likes a seat at a very prominent position, and the Honorable Ruku. Honorable Ruku was, like myself, very comfortable because we came there to mourn the fallen hero in General Ogola. But that does not mean members of parliament should not be accorded the respect that they deserve. Indeed, not just in funerals. A funeral is a very solemn occasion, but even during National Day celebrations. Seats for members of parliament, and let me just say this so that the Ministry of Interior and those in charge of the protocol during national functions here, members of parliament seats ought to be reserved ahead of those of cabinet secretaries and principal secretaries. I have seen in some occasions, Honorable Speaker, they even put seats of governors ahead of those of members of parliament. And Honorable Kainan will tell you, he did sponsor a bill in this House on the order of precedence. And the order of precedence for members of parliament ranks very high up those of other state officers, some of which are elevated above members of parliament. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, let me just commit also to pick that matter up with the Ministry of Interior, that is usually in charge of state protocol, to ensure that even on beginning this June 1st, if the Honorable Kainan, Honorable Robert Mbui, accompany the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, they must be accorded a place to sit and a respectable place to sit. You do not expect the Honorable Robert Mbui to go and sit on the grass. And you know, the last time he tried to imitate people in some demonstrations, he broke his legs and he fractured his legs, Honorable Speaker. So you can imagine what would happen to Robert if he tried to sit where other members of the public. But as for me, Honorable Speaker, let me just for the record state, I am ready, I am willing to sit. Occasionally, I will cede my own seat to members of parliament. I have attended functions, presidential functions, where I find the member of parliament, the area member of parliament, has not been accorded a good place to sit, and I offer and I cede my own seat, which will usually be very close to that of the president. I cede it to the area member of parliament to sit next to them. Therefore, again, let us not take some of these things too heavy in our hearts. all these positions, Honorable Speaker, are transitory. I am leader of majority today, tomorrow I might not be. Those who are cabinet secretaries today, tomorrow they might not be. Therefore, let us also have some humility in service. We are all at the service of the people that we serve, and we must put service ahead of our own personalities and our egos. I know we all have different egos. We must put service at the core of our service to the nation, Honorable Speaker. I remain strong to serve.
Ruku. Order. Ruku, very quickly, paraphrase your statement.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand to request for a statement on measures being taken to boost the manufacturing sector in the country. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44.2C, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Trade, Industry and Cooperatives regarding measures being taken to boost the manufacturing sector in the country. Honorable Speaker, the manufacturing sector is a critical cog in the wheel needed to drive Kenya to its ambitious goal of becoming a rapidly industrializing middle-income nation by the year 2030. Expansion in the manufacturing sector, it is imperative for the national development because of its ripple effect of spurring economic growth, the far-reaching benefits of the value chain, job creation, raising national revenue, raising the purchasing power, and enhancing the balance of trade, among others, cannot be overemphasized. In order for the country to achieve rapid industrialization, there is need to boost the manufacturing sector. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background I seek a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee of Trade on Trade, Industry and Cooperatives on the following. 1. What specific policies has the government put in place to promote local manufacturing and industrial growth in Kenya, including the mechanism put in place for monitoring and evaluating the effectiveness of the named policies? 2. What measures is government taking to promote value addition and diversification within the manufacturing sector with the intention of attracting local and foreign investment in manufacturing? 3. What measures has the government developed to support and integrate small and medium-sized enterprises and cottages industry so as to enhance their participation in the manufacturing sector? 4. What steps has the government taken to streamline regulation processes, reduce bureaucracy for manufacturing, and as well as ease their cost of doing business? 5. How is the government addressing challenges such as infrastructural deficiencies in high cost of production that hinder manufacturing productivity? 6. How is the government mitigating environmental concerns in order to ensure sustainable manufacturing practices? 7. What incentives are available to encourage innovation, technology, and the adoption of artificial intelligence within the manufacturing industry? And finally, 8. Which strategies has the government implemented to ensure availability of skilled and unskilled labor for the manufacturing sector? I thank you, Honorable Speaker. And finally.
No, you are breaching our trust. Gakuya, who is the chair of trade? Yes, Marian. First week after recess?
Chair, give us the second week.
Okay. Majority Leader? Before you make your Thursday statement, we'll go back to order number 5.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House. Today, Thursday, May 2nd, 2024, afternoon sitting. Honorable Speaker, if I can get the Honorable Okello to give me attention.
Jared.
Because it touches on some of the issues he was raising on exchequer releases. And this is a supplementary estimate too for the financial year 2023-2024 from the National Treasury and Economic Planning and the following accompanying documents. Financial year 23-24 supplementary estimates number 2, program-based budget. Financial year 23-24 supplementary estimates number 2, recurrent estimates. 3, the financial year 2023-2024 supplementary estimates number 2, development estimates, volume 1, 2, and 3. And 4, statement on the financial year 2023-24 supplementary estimates number 2. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to lay.
Thank you. You may now proceed under order number 7.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2A, I rise to give the following statement on behalf of the House Business Committee, which met on Tuesday, 30th April 2024, to prioritize the business for consideration during the week. Honorable Speaker, I wish to commend the leadership of the House and all the members for the dedication and cooperation exhibited in the session so far. We have certainly been able to meet the statutory timelines in respect of matters that were before us. In accordance with the approved calendar, the House is scheduled to proceed on recess from tomorrow, Friday, 3rd May 2024, and thereafter resume regular sittings on Tuesday, 4th June 2024 at 2:30 p.m. Honorable Speaker, members may wish to note that this will be a very busy recess period. It's a working recess especially for departmental committees and the Budget and Appropriations Committee as they engage with ministries, departments, and agencies on the budget estimates for the financial year 2024-2025 and also the supplementary estimates for 2023-2024 that has just been tabled this afternoon. Additionally, there are various matters relating to bills, treaties, inquiries, and responses to statements still pending before committees, including those that, Honorable Speaker, you have committed before committees this afternoon. I therefore urge all committees and members to present and actively participate in ensuring that all these matters are concluded and reports brought to the House upon resumption. Honorable Speaker, in addition, I wish to remind the House on the resolution passed on Wednesday, 14 February 2024, on the consideration of business received during the recess period relating to conveyance of messages from the Senate and from the President or the National Executive. The publication and procedure upon publication and first reading of bills and tabling of papers which are determined to be of priority nature during the recess period. In this regard, Honorable Speaker, any message and papers received during the recess shall stand committed to the relevant committees for consideration based on the priority nature of the business. Honorable Speaker, with regards to business scheduled for Tuesday, 4th June 2024, the House is expected to consider the following bills at various stages should they not be concluded today. One is the second reading of the Statute Law Miscellaneous Amendments Bill of 2023 and the Land Laws Amendment Bill number 2 of 2023. Additionally, debate will also be undertaken on the following motions should they not be concluded today. 1, reports of the Auditor General on the National Government Constituencies Development Fund for the 9 constituencies in Bungoma County. 2, reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements of specified state corporations. 3, report of the Public Petitions Committee on its consideration of public petition on funds spent contrary to the provisions of Article 223 of the Constitution. 4 is report on the Parliamentary Broadcasting and Library on enhancing reporting of parliamentary business on online platforms. 5, report of the Committee on Regional Integration on its inspection to the semi-autonomous institutions of the South African community in Uganda. 6, report of the Committee on Implementation on the implementation status of reports on petitions and resolutions passed by the House. 7 is report of the Committee on Trade, Industry and Cooperatives on its consideration of the alleged unfair trade practices by foreign investors in Kenya. And 8 is a report of the Committee on Agriculture and Livestock on its inquiry into the maize flour subsidy program for the financial year 2022-2023. Honorable Speaker, I also wish to take this opportunity to inform honorable members that the House may be recalled for a special sitting pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 29-1 to consider critical business that may arise during the recess period. This is especially so considering the resolution this morning on the motion for the proposed removal of the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture and Livestock Development and the strict timelines provided for in Article 152 of the Constitution. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, the House Business Committee shall reconvene again on Tuesday, 4th June 2024 to schedule business for the rest of that week. I now wish to lay this statement on the table of the House. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Tongoyo. Yes, Tongoyo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand to respond to a statement being said by...
That's your statement. Quick, paraphrase your response.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm rising to respond to a statement being asked by Honorable MP for Kilifi County concerning the issue of Munasi. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Speaker, the Member of Parliament for Kilifi County, Honorable Gertrude Mbeyu, had requested for a statement regarding the erroneous classification of Munasi as an alcoholic drink. The Honorable Member particularly sought to be informed, 1, the circumstances under the Ministry classified Munasi as an illicit alcoholic drink, despite the known fact that it is a natural coastal drink tapped from a coconut tree. Measures that the government has put in place to ensure preservation of culture, including the Cultural Heritage Association with the Munasi drink and other traditional drinks, while implementing the crackdown on the illicit brews. And thirdly, the initiative that the ministry had undertaken to ensure compliance with the law and accurate implementation of directive on illicit brews without favor or discrimination. I state as follows, Honorable Speaker. The drink Munasi is conceptually the one called toddy under the Kilifi County Coconut Act 2015. In the Act, toddy is defined as an alcoholic beverage made from the sap of a coconut tree. Section 32(1) of the Kilifi County Coconut Act provides that the processing of the toddy shall be undertaken in accordance with the provisions of the Kenya Bureau of Standards, National Coconut Standard on Toddy specification, the Alcoholic Drink Control Act, and the Kilifi County Liquor Control Act. By dint of this provision, the regulation of toddy is a concurrent function between both the national and the Kilifi County government. The Alcoholic Drink Act 2010, number 4, at section 2, provides that the alcoholic drinks include alcohol, spirit, wine, beer, traditional alcoholic drink, etc. The Kilifi County Liquor Control Act 2015, which defines liquor to include alcohol, spirit, wine, and beer, liquor, and traditional alcoholic drink, etc. Munasi falls within the definition of alcoholic drinks. More importantly, however, Munasi is sold in commercial volumes in the coastal region. I underline commercial volumes, including Kilifi County, such that it is a pillar of economic mainstay within the region. Section 7 of ADCA provides that no person shall manufacture or otherwise produce, sell, dispose of, or deal with, import or cause to be imported for, export or cause to be exported, any alcoholic drink except under the accordance with the license issued under this Act. Section 8(1)(b) of Kilifi County Liquor Control Act 2015 similarly provide that no person shall manufacture or otherwise produce, sell, distribute, or dispose of or deal with any alcoholic drink in the county except in accordance with the license issued under this Act. And Section 2 of the ADC provide that sell include barter or exchange without use of money, over or export of sale, barter or exchange without use of money, supply or over to supply in circumstances in which the supplier drives or will drive a direct or indirect pecuniary benefit, supply or over to supply gratuitously but with a view of gaining or maintaining custom or otherwise with a view of commercial gain. Section 2 of Kilifi County Legal Act 2015 defines sale in the exact term as ADCA 2010. In equal measures, Alcoholic Drink Act defines manufacture to mean the processing of alcoholic drink and include the packaging, labeling, distribution, or importation an alcoholic drink for sale in Kenya. The Kilifi County Liquor Control Act 2015 defines manufacture as the brewing, distilling, tapping, or any processing or intermediate processing of an alcoholic drink, and include the packaging, labeling.
How much more to go?
Just 2 pages.
2 pages.
Yes.
The issue is very simple. Is Munazi an alcoholic drink or it isn't?
Okay, let me try to.
Yes. And you have already said that there is a law that defines it as an alcoholic drink.
So maybe
the rigmarole you are now engaged
so it
in
is,
totally
Mr. Honorable
unhelpful.
Speaker, Munasi in summary is alcoholic drinks, and it should be controlled under the provision both of the Alcoholic Drink Control Act 2010 and even within the Kilifi Legal Control Acts similarly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Mama Mbeyu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm convinced with the response. What we need is the control. As you put it, it's an alcoholic. We need control because most of the people involved in this drink are men, and as of now, even school children, students are taking this drink, knowing very well it's not alcoholic. So we need from your department some policy to control the Mnazi drink in the coastal region and any other place Mnazi drink is being sold. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Zamzam.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika, na mimi napenda pia kupigia upondo majibu ambayo ametoa Mheshimiwa. Mheshimiwa Spika, mnazi hata kama ni kinywaji cha utamaduni lakini kinatumika vibaya Mheshimiwa Spika. Wanaume wanatoka kwenye mnazi ambao wauzwa kuanzia saa 12 asubuhi, hauna mikakati ya kuweka wakati mwafaka Mheshimiwa Spika. Wanaume wanalewa 24/7, wanenda wanapiga wake zao, wanawaumiza, na kama ingekuwa ni nguvu zangu mimi Mheshimiwa Spika, aina yoyote ya kilevya mimi kama mama county ningeweza kupinga. Imekuwa mpaka jana nikiongea na OCPD wa Jomvu Police Station, anasema kwenye mango yale mpaka watoto wa skuli wanatoka skuli wanaingia pale kwenda kunywa mnazi. Kwa hiyo mimi nakubaliana na ripoti ambayo ametoa Mheshimiwa, mnazi ni kilevya na lazima kiwekewe mipaka Mheshimiwa Spika. Na hata kama ingewezekana mimi pia ningesema mnazi mwingi watoka Kilifi ukija Mombasa ningeweza hata kuupinga usiingie katika kaunti yangu Mheshimiwa Spika. Manake watoto wanaharibika, watu wazima pia wanaharibika. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Thank you, Mama Mombasa. Next order.
Order number 8, motion. Report of the Committee of the Whole House on the County Licensing Uniform Procedures Bill, Senate Bill number 9 of 2022. Question to be put on that reading.
Order, honorable members. There is a supplementary order paper that I have approved for circulation. After putting the question at order number 8, we'll do first reading at orders number 9 and 10. Thereafter, we'll go to the Committee of the Whole at order number 11. We'll only deal with the first item, IEBC bill, the amendment bill. We'll stay the second National Disaster Risk Management to a later date. If we will have any special sitting during recess, I'll direct the clerk to slot it there as one of the special items. After that, then we'll skip order number 12 and go to order number 13 for appointment of members to the Select Committee on the Special Motion. And thereafter, we will go back to order number 12. So, order members, order Ruku, take a seat. Order, take a seat, honorable member. Honorable Millie, take a seat. Take a seat. We have called out already order number 8. I'll now put the question at order number 8, which is that this House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the County Licensing Uniform Procedures Bill, Senate Bill number 9 of 2022. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Yes, Honorable Millie, what is out of order? Order, go, hold on, Millie, take your seat. The mover to move third reading, is that Marian?
Yes, it is then.
Go ahead.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the County Licensing Uniform Procedure Bill, Senate Bill number 9 of 2022, be now read a third time, and I also request Honorable Ojiambo Oundo, member for Funyula, to second.
Oundo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I second. We have already dispensed with the matter. I second.
Thank you. Honorable members, order. Order. Honorable members, I propose the question, which is that the County Licensing Uniform Procedure Bill, Uniform Procedures Bill, Senate Bill number 9 of 2022, be now read a third time. Can I put the question? I now put the question, honorable members, which is that the County Licensing Uniform Procedures Bill, Senate Bill number 9 of 2022, be now read a third time. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Clerk.
A bill for an act of parliament to establish standard uniform procedures for licensing by county governments and for connected purposes.
Millie, can I hear your point of order? Honorable Millie Odhiambo. Give a mic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just wish to raise a concern regarding the, I don't know what number it is in the order paper on the disaster risk management bill. I have proposed amendments which do not appear in the order paper, and I sent them almost 3 weeks ago. So I'm just wondering.
It has been brought to my attention.
Yes.
After you pointed out to the clerks at the table, and that notwithstanding, I had already directed that we will not deal with that today. It will be dealt with at a later date. Either if we'll have any special sitting, we might slot it there, or when we resume after the recess. So your amendments will be taken into account. Next order.
Order number 9, the Breastfeeding Mothers Bill, National Assembly Bill number 8 of 2024, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to make provisions for breastfeeding mothers, to provide for employers' obligation to add breastfeeding working mothers in the workplace, to provide for baby changing facilities for use by the public and for connected purposes.
Next.
Order number 10, the Universities Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 16 of 2024, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Universities Act.
Next order.
Order number 11, Committee of the Whole House.
Order, honorable members, will you be upstanding?
Order, honorable members. Order, members. We are in the Committee of the Whole to consider the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2024.
Clause 3.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 3 be part of the bill. We have an amendment by the Honorable Zachary Thuku. Honorable members, is the Honorable Zachary Thuku in the House? Honorable members, I request
Yes,
that
let me just,
down.
Honorable Chair, let me just clarify for the benefit of members that we have had extensive consultations between the two coalitions on this bill and the proposed amendments by the joint JLAC. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chair, what you have agreed in principle is that the only amendments that we are going to carry in this, at this stage are the amendments proposed by the joint JLAC. Honorable Speaker, these amendments are basically meant to align the bill, to clean it up, whilst preserving its substructure, its structure. Because there are areas that, of course, had errors. There were typos, there were minor errors, there were issues with the structure of the bill. That is what the joint JLAC has endeavored to do, and we agree in totality, both the coalitions. So, in that regard, the Honorable Kwenya Thuku has graciously accepted to drop his amendment. Honorable Chair, thank you.
I would like to find out whether the Honorable Thuku is in the House. I fully understand what the minority leader has said. Yes, Honorable Thuku, please give the mic to the Honorable Thuku.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wish to concur with the leader minority. We had a meeting today and agreed that I drop my amendments and go by the committee's proposed amendment. Therefore, I drop my amendments.
Thank you very much, Honorable Thuku. Then that means there will be there is no amendment. So, honorable members, I now put the question that clause 3 be part of the bill. As many as have that opinion say aye. As many as have a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 4.
There is no amendment on clause 4. So I propose the question that clause 4 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 4 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 5.
I propose the question that clause 5 be part of the bill. There is an amendment by the chairperson. Honorable Murungara.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Chairperson, I beg to move that clause 5 be amended as shown on the order paper. And the justification is that we propose to revise the term of office of the Secretary of the IEBC to a term of 4 years renewable. Thank you.
I now propose the amendment that clause 5 be part of the bill. I propose that clause 5 as amended be part of the bill. I want to put that again. I propose the question that clause 5 as be amended as proposed by the chair. Honorable Makali.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, while I still support this amendment, I would want to go on record that a term of 8 years is too long for a secretary. How I wish that this joint team would have agreed a term of 3 years or 6 years, on and off. This can open doors for a secretary to serve 2 elections, and that can be very tricky. So even as I support, I need to go on record on that matter. I support.
I would like on this side. Honorable Anthony Lodge.
Chair, whereas I do not have any objections to the proposed amendment, based on our Articles 95 of the Constitution, I think it would be in order for the moving the amendments to go a little deeper to help us, as the House, who have the lawmaking function on behalf of the people of Kenya, to understand, and I know Murugara, who is a senior lawyer, understands why I'm asking that. We make law and we want to understand so we can explain that to our constituents, what is the basis upon which we are making this amendment. Otherwise, I have no objection to the provision.
There is another amendment. I'd like to put the question that clause 5 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, there is another amendment by the Honorable Zachary. Please give the mic to the Honorable. Yes, proceed.
Honorable Chair, as I had said earlier, I have dropped all the amendments that I had proposed in favor of what is being proposed by the committee.
In that case, I put the question that clause 5 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 6.
I propose the question that clause 6 be part of the bill. We have an amendment by the Chair, Justice and Legal Affairs.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. I beg to move that clause 6 of the bill be amended as shown on the order paper. What we have done is to provide for the review of conduct of general elections under a separate and substantive provision. This particular provision was actually in the schedule, and we felt that it should come as a substantive section, and it has an increment of what was initially proposed of 12 months to now what is being called an audit after 18 months. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I propose the question that clause 6 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Honorable Undo.
Chair, as we grapple with this amendment, in principle I support the amendment because after every action there must be a review. But the question I keep on asking myself, what next after the report is submitted in Parliament? What next? Is it just for record purposes? If it's discovered that whoever won the election did not win the election rightly, used fraudulent means so the system failed, What next? I would have expected jail under my good friend Sir George, and he still remains my good friend, to have actually gone a little further, that either Parliament will not and make correction to the next election, or whoever was victimized as a result of the wrong process should be allowed to come to this house to continue serving, or whatever it is. As it is, what is the purpose of the report? That's the question probably could answer, so that, as Honorable Locha said, we understand, we can go and explain to the electorate. Thank you, Chair.
Do you like to make a comment on that, Chair?
On the basis that, Madam Chair, we left it, once it is submitted to Parliament, for Parliament to have an absolute discretion on how to deal with it. Because we didn't want to say how Parliament should do it in our statute, because Parliament has discretion, unfettered discretion, to deal with a report similar to this and make any recommendation, resolutions, whatever Parliament deems appropriate to make. That is why we left it at that.
Honorable Beatrice Elachi.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, this also cures, I think, the issue of always when we finish an election, like now in NATCO, we are supposed to do a review. I'm hoping this will help, but then, Chair, even as it helps, what we need to ask ourselves as Parliament then, as Honorable Unda has said, that after you have published, there must be either agreeing that it's ending there, or maybe we put it in the regulations, Chair, and then it will work properly than the way it is, Chair.
Honorable members, I now put the question, which is that clause 6 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 6 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 7.
I propose the question that clause 7 be part of the bill. There is an amendment by the Chair.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. Madam Chairperson, we do propose that clause 7 be amended as shown on the order paper. And the purpose for doing this is purely to introduce a new part 3A, which will deal with delimitation of constituencies and wards. That's number 1. Number 2, we are also tidying up the Act, because this new provision, section 24B, is actually what is section 36 in the old bill. But it falls under part 5 of the bill, in savings and transitional provisions. Here we are saying it should actually be moved from here so that it falls under its own separate part, and we are able to actually move with its implementation under that part, under a new section which is properly titled Delimitation of Electoral Units. Thank you.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 7 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Honorable Undo.
Chair, I really want my colleague, Honorable Murungara, the Chair, to expound on subclause 10. And the subclause 10, Honorable Chair, it is that a person who being responsible for publication in the Kenya Gazette, the final report submitted on this section, fails to publish the report within the time required by the Commission after the report has been submitted to that person, commits an offense is liable for imprisonment for a term of 1 year. Please expound what exactly, who is this person supposed to publish, and why in your own contemplation would he refuse to publish, yet is employed and paid by public funds to publish. Probably explain to the country of Kenya, the residents of Kenya, so that they can see where the mischief lies, so that they can get prepared. And it's a punishment of only 1 year imprisonment, enough considering that the limitation is time-bound? What if he continuously refuses to publish, even after being jailed for 1 year? Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. The correct position is that subclause 10 exists in the current Act. What we have done is purely to align the section so that we bring it up under its own part. If you look at section 36, it has that subsection. So we are not amending anything. This is what we have in law.
Thank you. Honorable Adan Haji. The Honorable Makali Molu.
Yeah, I think, Madam Chair, what the chairperson is saying is a bit worrying. The fact that you had an opportunity to change this thing to more than 1 year, and you did not seize that opportunity, to me is a bit frustrating. So even as we support, I would have wished that this penalty of 1 year, imprisonment of a term of 1 year, to me, Madam Chair, this makes the thing look just like a joke.
Last, Honorable Jared Okello. Thank you. I now put the question that clause 7 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I'll now put the question that clause 7 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 8.
I propose the question that clause 8 be part of the bill. Chair?
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. I beg to move that clause 8 be amended as shown on the order paper. And what we are doing here, we begin the first clause, which is subclause Roman 1, and amend the word 7 to read 9, so that this is in conformity with C, subparagraph C, where various entities are nominating a total of 9 persons to sit in the selection panel. So the purpose is to align the number of members of the selection panel in the paragraph 1.1 with the 9 proposed under subparagraph 1.2. The second one is also to anchor the funding of the panel to the Parliamentary Service Commission. The previous act simply gives the secretariat to be from the Parliamentary Service Commission, and there have been questions as to where this panel is going to draw its money from, and we have now made it clear that this is going to be from the budget of the Parliamentary Service Commission, which actually is where it's going to be anchored. Thank you.
Thank you. I propose the question that clause 8 be amended as proposed by the chair. Honorable Zuleka Harun, nominated member. Honorable Makali Molu.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, the last proposal where the budget for this committee should come from the Parliamentary Service Commission is quite a good idea, because, Honorable Chair, there are situations where these committees are meeting and people are not able to earn allowances. So I think the fact that now we are coming out clear to say Parliamentary Service Commission will meet the cost is very good, and I support it.
Honorable Timothy Toretich. Honorable members also would like to comment on this. You please go to the intervention button. Honorable Beatrice Elachi.
Chair, this clause is also important, and I want to thank the chair, because you remember many of the times when this panel would sit, then you start having conflict again of where are you getting the resources, Madam Chair. And so for this, it resolves also that fear that was there, that who then takes responsibility of even the panel. So it's important, and we support Chair.
I now put the question that clause 8 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 8 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clauses 9 and 10.
No amendment. So I propose the question that clause 9 and 10 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 9 and 10 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 11.
It has an amendment, so I propose the question that clause 11 be part of the bill, Chair.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. I beg to move that clause 11 be amended as shown on the order paper. And the justification is as follows. First and foremost, we have to indemnify the selection panel existing before the commencement of the act for any actions done in good faith. There has been decisions of the court, some of which seem to be saying that the selection panel in existence now may be in breach of the Constitution, and that may expose them to some form of personal liability. But for as long as we know for sure the reasons why they never worked as they should, then that should remain, and they should remain, each and every one of them, individually indemnified. The second reason why we are proposing this is to provide for a mechanism that activates the appointment of a selection panel in light of the already existing vacancies in the Commission. It is true that there is a selection panel and the Commission has vacancies, but we did not have a way of nominating bodies under the Act being required to submit names of their nominees within given periods of time. This is why we have given them 14 days to do it, because it has to be competitive. There may be need for adverts, and we have also given the President 7 days within which to make the appointment.
I now propose the question that clause 11 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Chair. I rise to support. Honorable Chair, as has been said by the Honorable Murugara, under the old Act we had 7 days, and we realized even within NADCO, if you give the nominating body 7 days, and we also expect them to have some due process in deciding on the nominees that they will present, then they will not have time to have some due process. And therefore, we propose to have the 14 days, and we agree with the committee, so that within the 14 days, at least each of the nominating bodies from the Parliamentary Service Commission, the Interreligious Council, PPLC, LSK, they have some time to advertise and notify their members to have at least some due process to avoid cases being filed in court against the nominating bodies that they never gave their own membership opportunity to apply and be considered, and to have some fair administrative process in the nomination process, and therefore support.
The Honorable Minority Leader.
And also, Chair, to clarify further that it is clear that upon this bill becoming an act of Parliament, the old selection panel will stand dissolved. But then that does not stop or preclude members of that panel who are currently serving the panel from applying or from being considered as members of the new panel. Thank you.
Mark Mwenje, member for Embakasi.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to echo the comments of the Minority Leader that it's worth noting that the panel that existed will cease to exist. But more importantly, Honorable Chair, is that we would request that anybody who would want to proceed these civil societies to recognize the fact that those panelists have been given an opportunity to reapply for those jobs. So it's not that they've been fired, they have an opportunity to come back and apply. And more importantly, Chair, there are more positions actually. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Anthony Oluoch.
Thank you, Chair. I just needed some clarity on the Secretary to the Commission, that the Secretary shall continue to hold office for the unexpired period. Could the Chair clarify, and as I support the provision, how that balances with the provision that says they would do 4 terms and they're eligible for another 4 terms. Does that mean then that they can now do those 4 terms plus these unexpired 3 terms? That's one concern. The second one is that whereas I appreciate what majority and minority have said in relation to the timelines, there is a saving provision that allow for reappointment of those who are there, so that then it circumvents the idea that we are giving 14 plus 7 days, taking into account that we are already way past the time for delimitation and constituencies and wards that are not having representation. Otherwise, I support.
Last Chair. Chair, please make a comment on the matter.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. It's important I do clarify that we've made a saving provision under subclause D for the office of the Secretary so that he does serve for the unexpired period, purely to preserve his contract, which is lawful, and he has a legitimate expectation on it. However, we are not saying anything else because that clause, being a transition clause, will kick in as soon as his contract ends. That's when this section will become applicable, and the new person coming in will now serve for 4 years and will be eligible for reappointment. We have not said anything about the Secretary, whether he can apply or not apply, because we really felt that is over legislating.
Well, I would like to give the last one to the Honorable Nabwera Nabi, member for Lugari.
Thank you, Chair. The reason I'm opposing the proposed amendment is on 2 principles: the principle of eligibility and the principle of adequacy. Now, we haven't vacated the principle of eligibility. Similarly, we haven't vacated the principle of adequacy. So I don't know what the Chair wants to achieve by that amendment.
Last, the Honorable B.T. Selachi.
Chair, I also want Chairman to help us to understand. You see, even as we bring in this and the Secretary, you remember, I'll give an example in terms of the constituency managers and even the staff. So you find you are a procurement officer, for example, and you are about to leave. Let's say you are just 2 months to leave and somebody else comes in. Who is now going to take responsibility? Why didn't we think of how to manage that? Because I think that is where we've had very huge crisis in terms of you have, for example, we had so many acting constituency managers. How do we solve that problem where you are a senior staff, you're about to go on, or even retire?
I now put the question, which is that clause 11 be amended as proposed by the Chair. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, which is that clause 11 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 7A.
Mover, please move the second reading of the new clause.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. I beg to move that the new clause 7 be now read a second time. And the justification for the second reading is that we're calling upon the House to approve that we delete the old section 36 from the Act. If you recollect, the old section 36 is now the new section 24B. And therefore, it would be improper and procedural for us to legislate and leave an act that has, a section that has been reproduced elsewhere, still subsisting in the same act. So to tighten it up, section 36 now goes because it is the new section 24B.
Honorable members, I propose the question that new clause 7A be now read a second time. I do not see any interest in this. I now put the question that clause 7A, that new clause 7A be now read a second time. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now propose the question that new clause 7A be part of the bill. I now put the question that new clause 7A be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I propose that clause 2 be part of the bill. We have an amendment, Chair.
Yes. Thank you very much. Madam Chairperson, I beg to move that clause 2 be amended as shown on the order paper. And what we are doing here is purely to define what a parliamentary party is, because in the appointment of the selection panel, we've said a party that is not parliamentary will be making a nomination. And we have defined parliamentary party to be exactly what is in our standing orders. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I propose the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chair. I now put the question. Would you like to make a comment on that, Honorable Makali Molu? You may proceed.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I think this definition is very good. But we need to be careful because in the past, Honorable Chair, we have seen people who have been signed to be part of a coalition pretending to be political parties. So even as we define this, it's important that we stick to the definition as it is in the Act. I submit.
I now put the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chair. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that clause 2 as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose the question that the title be the title of the bill. I now put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
No amendment. I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many as have that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Mover? Honorable Majority Leader?
Honorable Chair, I was being distracted by Marianne Ketanyi, for obvious reasons. Give me that paper. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2024, and its approval thereof with amendments.
Honorable members, I now put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2024, and its approval thereof with amendments. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Yes, the chairperson. Rachel.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2024, and approved the same with amendments.
Mover.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report and request the Honorable Deputy Whip of the minority, the Honorable Mwenje, to second the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to second. Thank you.
Thank you. I now propose the question, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I want to support that report. And I just want to say that this is how business, if well transacted, should be. This is a bipartisan approach, and you could see the maturity with which the Committee of the Whole House proceeded, and even the collection of mind of the chair of JLAC, which is very rare in matters such as this. But we want to appreciate that when matters are done in a collective manner and there is meeting of minds and there is consensus, we are mature enough to be able to bring to Kenyans what they need. Mr. Speaker, I want to commend the two leaderships for this maturity and for bringing us together. I support. Thank you.
Thank you. And now put the question, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Mover.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2024, be now read a third time. I also request Honorable Mary Keitany to second.
I second.
Thank you. Honorable members, I now propose the question, which is that the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2024, be now read a third time. Put the question. Honorable members, I now put the question, and I confirm that we have quorum, which is that the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 10 of 2024, be now read a third time. As members of that opinion say aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Act 2011 and for connected purposes.
Thank you. We now, as I had advised you earlier, put aside order number 12 for now and move to order number 13. Majority Leader.
Order number 13, motion, appointment of members to the Select Committee on Investigation into the proposed dismissal of Honorable Mitika Linturi as the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture and Livestock Development.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that in furtherance to the resolution of the House passed today, 2nd May 2024, on the special motion for the dismissal of Honorable Francis Mithika Linturi as the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture and Livestock Development, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 152(7)(a) and Standing Order 66(5)(b), this House approves the appointment of the following members of the Select Committee to investigate the grounds contained in the resolution of the House. 1, the Honorable Naomi Jilowako, CBS MP. 2, the Honorable Robert Mbui, CBS MP. 3, the Honorable Rachel Nyamai, CBS MP. 4, the Honorable Samuel Kiprono Chepkonga, MP. 5, the Honorable George Gitonga Murugara, MP. 6, the Honorable TJ Kajuang, MP. 7, the Honorable Moses Malulu Ijendi, MP. 8, the Honorable Jane Jerry Maina MP. 9, the Honorable Kasim Sawatandaza MP. 10, the Honorable Catherine Omanyo MP. 11, the Honorable Yusuf M. Farah MP. Honorable Speaker, as you are aware, the 11 MPs, members to the Select Committee have a Herculean task with a very limited time of only 10 days, as you earlier communicated in your communication, and as provided for in our standing orders. Honorable Speaker, additionally, as members of the committee embark on this crucial task, I wish to emphasize the paramount importance of impartiality in executing the mandate that we are bestowing on them. Honorable Speaker, let me be quick to point out that all these members, and indeed any member of this House, warrants and is capable of sitting in this committee and executing their mandate, but it's important that we emphasize the question of impartiality to consider the matters contained in the motion, and therefore, Honorable Speaker, the integrity of their work and the credibility of their findings will hinge upon their ability to remain as objective as they can and unbiased throughout the investigative process. I am aware, Honorable Speaker, that both from the majority side and the minority side, we had very limited time to nominate members, and I must commend the leadership of both sides of the House for the nomination and point out that across the aisle from both sides of the coalitions, I know we have endeavored, and I know there was a lot of lobbying for members to be included in this committee, but with only 6 positions on the majority side, 5 on the minority side, Honorable Speaker, only those 11 could and can sit in this committee. I want to implore on them that you now sit as a committee, select committee of the House, irrespective of how you voted for the motion. You are not going to sit to consider how you voted, but you are going to sit and consider the motion as it is, objectively, fairly, as you can be, and without being biased in any manner. Let not how you voted inform you, because I know within this list there are those who voted for, those who voted against, those who abstained, and even a few who may not have been even in the House. And I want to beg that we do support the list as it is for us to be able to progress this to the next stage. And I say for us to be able to progress this to the next stage because, Honorable Speaker, considering the very tight timelines that we have of only 10 days, and this being the last day that we are sitting, indeed the last one, almost 1 3/4 hours of our sittings today, I beg therefore to move, and I want to request the Leader of Minority, the Honorable Pio Wandai, to second the motion for approval.
The Honorable Speaker, let me start by saying that this is really a difficult moment. And I know the time was very short. I want to agree with the Honorable Chungwa for these nominations. And there was a lot of interest, immense interest, from all members, virtually, who had wanted to be in this select committee. As a matter of fact, at one point, I also considered making an amendment to our list. But when I approached the clerk office, I was advised that it was too late to make an amendment. But, Honorable Speaker, there are concerns that have been raised by my side, very grave concerns, that the list of the names emanating from the majority side is comprising of names or members who are deemed to be extremists, to be hardliners, so to speak, and that it will take a lot of effort for them to climb down and become the impartial jury that they should be. Honorable Speaker, I don't know how we shall cure this. I don't know, but you need to guide us. In the event that now this House decides to reject the names, what do we do? You need to guide us on that, because I can see the mood is very bad. If I'm not wrong, the mood looks very bad. And you know, Honorable Speaker, this is not really far-fetched. There are members who spoke to this motion and expressed very, very extremist views that to imagine they can come down and become the jury or the judges will be very difficult. But anyway, that is the wisdom of the framers of the Constitution and the legislation that have brought us to where we are. There's no way we shall get anybody outside these chambers to be in this committee. But we are in choosing those members, let us try to build consensus also in the manner we have done with the IEBC so that we move forward. The mood out there is even worse. The mood here is perhaps better. Out there, people are mad because this issue of fertilizer affects almost every household in this country, and therefore people are very angry and hungry. Yes, so let us treat carefully. Thank you. I support.
Order, honorable members. Order. Have you even seconded?
I'm seconding, Honorable Speaker, with those submissions.
Honorable members, I'll propose the question, and you should be guided. Honorable members, order. The list on this order paper was forwarded to the Speaker by letters written by the Majority Leader and the Minority Leader. The Speaker then conveyed to the Clerk to prepare the supplementary order paper. So this list is your list. Number two, members who have been put on this committee, you move to the committee with no blinkers. If you carry the weight of your history of this morning to the committee, then you will not be a good committee member. Number three, under your standing orders, once a list like this comes to the floor, is accepted as is or rejected as is. No amendment. Number three, and more importantly, number four, today is your last day to go to recess. You have not gazetted or requested for gazettement any sitting day within the recess. We will order our watch, and it's out of order to interject when the Speaker is addressing the House. And as a lawyer, I think you know much better than other members. If today you reject the list, it could easily be interpreted to amount to you are resting the matter where it is. And those are your consequences. They are not mine. It is the Constitution and the standing orders that guide what we are doing. I'll now propose the question, it's up to you, which is that in furtherance of the resolution of the House, in furtherance, order members. Order, Honorable Kimani, take your seat. Order. Honorable members, as I put the question, order. I want to advise you members, no member in this House has any entitlement to sit on any committee. Each one of you is eligible to sit on any committee as long as your leaders nominate you. And if you are not nominated, it doesn't mean you are any lesser or any greater. And you have no right to think that you do a better job than those who are on the list. I now propose the question that in furtherance of the resolution of the House passed today, 2nd May 2024, on the special motion for the dismissal of Honorable Francis Mithika Linduri as the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture and Livestock Development, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 152(7)(a) and Standing Order 665B, this House approves the appointment of the following members to the Select Committee to investigate the grounds contained in the resolution of the House. 1, Honorable Naomi Jilo Wako, CBS MP. 2, all the honorable members. 2, Honorable Robert Mbui, CBS MP. 3, Honorable Rachel Nyamai, CBS MP. 4, Honorable Samuel Kiprono Chepkonga MP. Honorable George Kitonga Murugara MP. Honorable TJ Kajwang MP. Honorable Moses Maluli Njende MP. Honorable Jen Njeri Maina MP. Honorable Kasim Standaza MP. Honorable Catherine Omanyo MP. Honorable Yusuf M. Farah MP. Order. Okay. Go ahead. Order.
I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. But even as I contribute, I need your protection, Honorable Speaker.
Order, honorable members.
Honorable.
Order. Honorable. Order. Order. Gone.
Honorable Speaker, I thank you very much for the opportunity. But Honorable Speaker, looking at the list and what informed the morning's passage of the motion, Honorable Speaker, it looks like a slap on the face of members of this House together with the farmers that they represent, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, it is the position of many in this House that my very good friend, Honorable Mithika Linturi, is not likely going to get justice out of those who should sit in this select committee, Honorable Speaker. And for that, I say, Honorable Speaker, that whereas we depend very solely on the discretion of your rulings, Honorable Speaker, we would ask you to indulge us on making a vote on each and every member.
Order, Honorable Kello. Order, honorable members. Order. Order. Order, honorable members. Order. Order, honorable members. Order. Order. Order, honorable members. Order. Order, honorable Nabuera. Order. Order, honorable members. Order. Order, honorable member from Murang'a County. If you persist on your rowdy behavior, I'll show you the door. You have better ways of protesting than the manner in which you are doing. And you look a decent lady. I don't see why you are being rowdy in the House. Order, honorable members. If you want to consult, and you have the right to consult with your leadership, there are rooms behind here, and there is also the corridor out there. You have no business disrupting. Doesn't give you the license to disrupt the proceedings of the House. So any one of you wants to consult with your leadership, the speaker's rooms behind here are open to you. As the proceedings go on, the corridor out there is open. Room 9, room 7 upstairs are not in use. The House will continue with its business, and Jared Okello is on the floor. And those who are contributing, there is no member of this list to be debated because there's no motion against any member. These are simply members that your leadership has proposed to sit on a committee. If you want to discuss the personal conduct of any member of these 11, bring a motion. But you are not going to use this opportunity to cast unhelpful aspersions against your colleagues. None of you is greater than the other. None of you has any right over and above the other. There's no motion against any member here. The motion is to select a committee, names given by your own leadership, not by the clerk, not by the speaker. Jared Okello.
Honorable Speaker, I thank you for the protection. Honorable Speaker, the agitation coming from the floor of this House is a testament that perhaps the list is not reflective of the wishes and aspirations of members of this House. And Honorable Speaker, whereas you have made a pronouncement as regards what will follow, I think again it is not in order for us to throw this baby with the bathwater, Honorable Speaker. What was conveyed in the morning here was a motion regarding an impeachment of a particular cabinet secretary. What was not passed in the morning was a list. It was a motion. And Honorable Speaker, we equally believe that this list is not cast on stone. And just as you have ably said, Honorable Speaker, that any member in this House is capable of sitting in that committee, Honorable Speaker. Members are dissatisfied with certain members who did express very difficult positions in the morning, Honorable Speaker. So my plea to you, Honorable Speaker, is we all understand that we are going on races this evening, and therefore there are certain things that may be overtaken by time. But Honorable Speaker,